The Ram Mandir donation scam is turning out to be a lot bigger than we first realized when we put out our first video. So we have a video that's already out. It came out this weekend, in which we've actually listed out everything that we know publicly about the investigation and what has happened so far. When we put out that video, we knew allegations had been made that the donations to the Mandir had been stolen to some extent. We don't know the full extent. 8 people have been arrested, and the Uttar Pradesh government actually ordered an SIT investigation. Since then, the story has sort of exploded. So in this video, we're actually listing out a bunch of things that have emerged since our last video, including the fact that the investigators are now looking at the banks to see if bank employees were responsible in some way for those donations going missing. That the strongest criticisms are now coming from, not from the opposition, but inside the Ram Mandir establishment itself. And we're actually going to look at every single thing that has happened since then. Now, before we get started, a quick reminder to you to like, share and subscribe to our channel, and also sign up for our membership if you are inclined to it. We put out a news bulletin every day that is meant to give you the news in the least triggering way possible, so you can find out what's going on in the world without it upsetting you so much. Okay, so let's get to what we know so far. So we've numbered it down. So all of the things that have happened since the last time we put out the list. On Saturday, and this is the biggest development, the Shri Janmabhoomi Teerth Kshetra Trust confirmed that it received the resignations of 2 individuals, the General Secretary Champat Rai and Trustee Anil Mishra. According to the Hindustan Times, the trust said that it was shocked, hurt and deeply saddened by the incidents that had come to light, and is going to make sure that the silver bricks and the ornaments and the precious offerings made by devotees are kept safe and properly documented. Now, to be absolutely clear, neither Champat Rai nor Anil Mishra have been charged with any offence. There is no suggestion at all that submitting a resignation on moral grounds amounts to admission of guilt, but politically this is hugely significant. Now, in the previous video, we told you who Champat Rai is, but I want to tell you who Anil Mishra is as well, in order to understand why his resignation matters. Now, inside the Ram Mandir project, he is one of the most influential administrators. According to the Indian Express, Anil Mishra oversees purchases and procurement for the trust. His office apparently is right next to the donation counting center in the Mandir. Now, before joining the trust, he served for decades at the RSS, eventually becoming the Prant Kartavya in the Awadh region, and ahead of the temple's consecration in January 2024, he and his wife performed the main Yajman rituals for that inauguration ceremony. Now, so this isn't just a trustee, he is central to the trust's functioning, which makes his resignation really politically relevant. If investigators, like I said, have not accused him of any wrongdoing, neither have these 2 individuals been questioned by the investigators, to the best of our knowledge, but it's still something that must be noted. Now, a lot of the criticism is now coming in not from members of the opposition, although they are criticizing, but from inside the structure. And there's one individual particularly, this is according to a report in The Wire. Nripendra Misra, former Principal Secretary to the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, very important person in the bureaucracy, a chairperson to the Ram Mandir Construction Committee, one of the most respected retired bureaucrats in the country. Now, Misra did something really unusual. He gave a series of interviews to ABP, to NDTV, to TV9, to Bharat Samachar, and The Wire has put an analysis together, effectively saying that he has said that vigilance was poor, that he actually said that basic counting protocols were actually broken. He acknowledged that CCTV footage was stored only for 45 days at a time. So basically, only 45 days worth of CCTV footage from the counting room was actually kept saved, and the rest of it was deleted. And so it's impossible, or it'll be difficult at least, for the investigators to find out what happened before that 45-day period. And employees who were supposed to wear pocketless uniforms are apparently not doing so. The Wire says that Mishra described what had happened as Khulla Dhaka, which means open robbery. And based on that article, if he is criticizing the system so drastically, this is something to take note of. Another extraordinary report has also come out in the same time. Indian Express says that it put out a report 6 years ago that investigators have largely ignored, which suggested that something like this would happen. So according to the newspaper, in November 2020, just months after the trust was formed, a private audit described its financial management as highly unprofessional unprofessional. Its auditors reportedly found that there was no systematic record of donations, no clearly defined operating procedure, no accountability. Their recommendation was simple: create a standard operating procedure for every single financial transaction, every employee, every stage of data management. According to the Indian Express, 6 years later, these recommendations still have not been implemented in any way. And if that reporting is accurate, investigators will have to ask a very difficult question. Did today's problem happen because money was stolen, or because systems that should have been put in place were never put in place at all? Now, the other thing that has happened is that investigators are now looking into SBI, or the State Bank of India. According to a report in Money Control, the SIT has questioned senior officers of the SBI Ayodhya Dham branch. Investigators are obtaining account details connecting with the 7 or the 8 accused. And here's the key allegation. Money Control cites sources, and it says that SBI may have identified irregularities in the donation counting process nearly 3 months ago and recommended replacing some of the outsourced workers. Investigators are now trying to determine whether the warnings existed, if they were communicated, whether anybody did anything about them. It's important to note that SBI has not publicly confirmed these reports, or wrongdoing of the bank officials has not been established in any way, but the fact that the investigators are looking at the banks is a big, big thing. Now, every financial scandal has one whistleblower. In this case, someone called Mahipal Singh. Singh previously was an employee of the trust who used to supervise accounts and handle temple donations. Today, he's widely being referred to as the whistleblower. According to him, he raised concerns internally about the way cash donations were being handled. He said that instead of looking into his concerns, he was sacked from his job. Now, BBC Hindi tried to contact him to get a confirmed soundbite, but he apparently refused to speak in detail. He has told BBC Hindi that I'm receiving death threats, I'm under immense pressure and stress, I'm not in a position to say anything. Whatever I said in public so far, please just accept it as my word. And his allegations, though, have not been independently verified. We don't know if the SIT has spoken to him or has anyway verified his version of the details, but it was actually his accusations that led Akhilesh Yadav to publicly demand those answers. Now, in our last video, we talked about the CCTV and how when the CCTVs were installed, there were employees who were blocking the camera in order to be able to do what they needed to do. Things get even more interesting. Now, according to Quint, investigators and other, investigators have said that footage inside the counting area was retained only for 45 days. And if they expect that the money has been disappearing for more than 45 days, maybe a year, maybe even longer, they simply can't go back and check the CCTV visuals because the evidence has simply been overridden. Investigators are examining the role of the police wireless, the telecom officer responsible to maintain the surveillance systems. According to reports, investigators are trying to establish whether the role extended beyond maintaining equipment or actually deleting visuals, and who was deleting those visuals also. So it does seem like outside of the 8 people who the police currently have in custody, there could have been more people involved. There were people servicing, the surveillance cameras. Did they have something to do with it? Did the trust know before the public knew? Well, this is an interesting thing. There's an exclusive report by Dainik Bhaskar. And this exclusive report by Dainik Bhaskar, which I must point out to you, none of the other newspapers have carried. It says trust officials allegedly discovered bundles of cash in the washroom adjoining the donation counting room several days before the controversy broke out. The report said it was about 3 or 4 lakh rupees in cash. Further reports say that the police and trust officials subsequently visited the home of one of the accused, Avinash Shukla, and a video has surfaced of the police escorting him to his residence, and a black bag was allegedly discovered at his residence that contained cash. However, no official confirmation by the SIT has been made about this bag. Now, I want to remind you that the SIT report was handed over to the UP government in a sealed envelope. We don't know what is in that report. All of the information that we have right now is from leaked information going to sources and news reports that have come out from that leaked information. In other developments, the Faizabad Bar Association, which is basically the lawyers of the neighborhood, have passed a resolution refusing to represent anybody accused in this case. According to News 18, the association has also said that they proposed a 5 lakh rupee penalty on any lawyer who chooses to appear on behalf of the accused. The association didn't stop there. They have demanded, these are the lawyers, from Ayodhya have demanded that Champat Rai and Nripendra Misra leave Ayodhya within the next 3 days, warning that they will protest if these two men remain in the city. And the controversy now has spread beyond donations. Aam Aadmi Party Rajya Sabha MP Sanjay Singh has submitted documents, he says, to the SIT alleging irregularities in land deals around the Ram Temple project. These are the allegations he is making. Now again, this is an Aam Aadmi Party member of Rajya Sabha. He says that one land parcel was purchased for 2 crore rupees and then resold to the trust within minutes for 18.5 crore rupees. Another property was bought for 3 crore rupees and was sold for 24 crore rupees. So he questions the transactions involving land and arguing that some of those parcels could not legally have been bought or sold because some of it was Nazul land. And at this stage, all of this continues to remain allegations, and we don't know whether the SIT is looking into these allegations or not. At the same time, there are leaders of the Hindu religious community that are now also asking questions. Swami Avimukteshwar Anand Saraswati has questioned why the SIT is focusing primarily on those who have physically counted the notes and not looking at the entire system or the people responsible for the entire system. He has also criticized the composition of the Ram Janmabhoomi Trust, saying that the country's leading Shankaracharyas and other religious authorities should have been chosen for these jobs and not political processes. And his remarks then, of course, got a reaction. Swami Govindananand Saraswati has publicly accused Avimukteshwar Anand of financial impropriety himself, saying that he went around and did a gold collection drive and demanded that allegations into that gold collection drive also be investigated. Now, so obviously we started off with 8 people and with that SIT report, but now it's starting to spread in all directions. There seems to be allegations that are being flung in different directions. Now, we must remember that because it is political and religious and a lot of emotion and a lot of money is involved, there are going to be a lot of people who are going to come in and fling allegations about. We should rely on the police investigation and what the police investigation finally proves. But here's the thing. We don't know what the SIT investigation has finally proven because they have not shared those details with us. And those details should be made public because we are talking about money that people have given out of their faith and belief. So those people deserve to know what the SIT has actually found. We also don't know whom the SIT is actually questioning at this point, if the UP police is looking into anything else. Like I raised last time, if it stretches beyond, the UP police, if it stretches beyond 1 crore rupees, is the CBI going to get involved? Is the ED going to get involved? Is there ill-begotten wealth from land deals? Is there ill-begotten, have they actually been, people in the banks that have taken advantage of the situation? It does seem to be spilling across the board really quickly, and everybody who is involved now suddenly seems like they have sticky fingers for putting their hand in the honey jar. So we would have to, in any case, I would have said we should wait for evidence to be presented. But at this point, it's moving really quickly and no evidence is being presented, and that leaves a grey area for speculation. It leaves a grey area for more allegations. This is a really high stakes game for the Uttar Pradesh government, given the election that they're running into in Uttar Pradesh. Uttar Pradesh is a very important state for the BJP. The Ram Mandir is a very important emotive, sort of victory for the BJP, and they are not going to want to see it sort of covered in fingerprints of people who have stolen from it right before an election. So there's a lot at stake right now. But fundamentally, if you talk to the people in Uttar Pradesh, they will tell you that not only did they celebrate the inauguration of the Ram Mandir, but every year on the same day, they light up their villages like it's Diwali. They celebrate it as an anniversary every year. So this is something that people care very deeply about. They deserve accountability. They deserve to know what the investigators have found. They deserve to know if the money that they actually donated has been looked after. If someone is stealing, who's stealing? How did they manage to steal and who was held responsible? All of these questions remain unanswered for the time being. Leave me a comment in the comment section if you think it's possible at all to get to the bottom of what really happened in the Ram Mandir donations scam issue.